and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC. Bad and the Guilty is recorded live with the men and women of law enforcement. All suspects are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, here's your host, Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in today to The Good, the Bad, the Guilty. I am the stunt double today. Sheriff Campbell is not with us today. He had some meetings to take care of through some Sheriff's Association business, but I am tickled to death to be here with several special guests today, and I will let them go around and introduce themselves here in just a moment. But if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, and you want to give us a call here today, please call in at 844-STUDIO-4, which is, in real people terms, 844-788-3464. You can watch us streaming live on WSIC News app, Facebook, X, Twitter. What else, Joe? Any other outlets you guys got that we can have people listen to us on?
Everything.
Tin can string?
Everything. There is a string on the back door. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there is a couple tin cans connected to the end of it.
Well, there you go.
So, everybody's
so people
listening.
can walk up and listen.
Exactly.
I still can't get used to you talking through the window. It's
I'm
kind of like we live in two different houses.
It's nice, though. I get to be in my own spot.
Okay.
I can screen your callers and make sure nobody is trying to play a prank on you.
Or Troy.
Troy.
Oh, yeah.
But they can also lie to me, but we don't want that.
Nobody lies to Joe.
I don't allow that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you so much for tuning in today to The Good, the Bad, the Guilty. And I will start on my far right. I guess that's your near left down there. But if our guests would like to introduce themselves, and then we can kind of let the cat out of the bag, if you will.
My name is Jason Lanning. I'm an agent with Farm Bureau.
Yes, my name is Jeff Collins. I'm the agency manager of Farm Bureau.
My name is Jordan Hoyle. I'm a correctional officer with the Iredell County Sheriff's Office.
And I am Troy Miller. I'm major with the Sheriff's Office over investigations.
So, Mr. Hoyle, I know earlier today you were probably given a call and said, go to the radio station.
Yes, I was. I have no idea why I'm here, though.
Well, hey, listen, that's a good surprise. This is one of those shows, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the show, if you're new to tuning in, this is one of those shows where I am tickled to death just to get to be a part of. And I know Farm Bureau plays a huge part in what we're going to do today. But let me just introduce Jordan Hoyle a little bit. I believe you went to St. Stephen's High School.
I did.
You've been with us now for?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years. And
yes,
you're working hard at our detention center, getting it done every day. So, Jeff, if you will let me, real quick, I will kind of highlight kind of what Jordan's here for, and then if you guys want to make the presentation, and then maybe let Jordan tell us a little bit more about the situation. But on May 14th, basically, Mr. Hoyle saved 2 lives. That's what it boils down to, cut and dry. Man doing his job, awesome. Doing the checks that he's supposed to do over at detention center. We had some individuals incur some medical conditions due to some extenuating circumstances, and he had the wherewithal and the professionalism to go ahead and administer some Narcan to those individuals. And 2 people are alive today without a shadow of a doubt because of this young man sitting here. So without any further ado, I'll let our great friends from Farm Bureau make a presentation.
Jordan, glad to have you here. Very proud of what you've done. And the Iredell County Farm Bureau, and part of teaming up with the Iredell County Sheriff's Department, would like to present you a plaque in recognition of your outstanding service to the citizens of Iredell County.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Jordan, if you'd like to, obviously we can't and won't use names, but kind of tell us a little bit about what went on that kind of brought us here today.
I was doing my normal observations like I do every day.
Mm-hmm.
I went through. I saw one of the individuals was leaned over the toilet as if he was sick, having convulsions in the toilet. I mentally noted that on my next scan, I went around and checked, and I saw him and his roommate. They were both unfortunately unconscious, but I was able to get the medical staff up there and the backup I needed up there to do what we needed to do and save their lives.
So I think from what I understand, you were able to administer some Narcan.
Yes, sir.
Right.
We did 2 rounds of Narcan twice on each individuals, and after the second round of Narcan and some sternum rubs, they both eventually came back to us and started getting some breaths of air that they much needed.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So basically, it's not uncommon to see, unfortunately, due to some of the medical conditions and some of the shapes that people are in when they come into the jail, to actually see them maybe, without being blunt on the radio, kind of throwing up in the toilet. But it's one of the things that you guys are trained to notice. Okay, and then you said, as you said, in your second round, that's when you knew something was obviously not right.
Of course, and I can thank everybody that showed up to help me during that scene, and the sheriff's office for the training that they provided for me. I felt a lot more confident going into that. I definitely appreciate everybody's help.
Now you guys have Narcan on the floor,
Of
obviously,
course.
so it was easy and quickly accessible to make sure that we had it for the folks. So
Absolutely.
One of the things that, and maybe you can tell us, the new design on the jail. And Troy, I know that you've been around long enough to know how the old jail was configured. The way the new jail is designed with the 2-person cells.
Yes.
Okay. One, it's way more safe for you guys as detention officers.
Oh yeah.
Because instead of, if for those of you that are listening, the way our old jail was laid out, and Troy, correct me if I'm wrong, was kind of like a dormitory style.
Yeah.
All right. And you would have, 25, 30, up to 40 people, depending on capacity, whether it be sleeping in bunks or on the floor?
In the floor, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So instead of having to go in and maybe check on someone and be worrying about your safety with 25, 30 other people around, now you're able to focus this on 2 people at the most ever.
Yeah, it makes
to deal on those.
Makes it a whole lot easier when you're able to individualize 2 people in one room like that.
Right.
You're able to check on them both individually. They're breathing, their chest rising. I can see all that laying on the bed. If they're covered up, it's easy to tell whether or not they're okay or not.
Right. And Troy, I know you remember when we were in the design and planning phase for the new detention center, one of the things that Sheriff Campbell, I remember him succinctly talking and making sure that our architects and our designers was officer safety, in addition to inmate safety.
Absolutely, yeah. And I remember before our new jail was completed, we had a few incidents there where we had some officers getting injured because inmates were fighting and they were trying to break up these fights when you had a room full of 20, 30 inmates. And
right.
Our officers are going in there trying to defuse these situations and they're getting hurt. But now with the new facility, so much safer, and our officers are safer, the inmates are safer, and it contains everything. To where you don't have a whole room full of inmates and where a situation can get out of control. So that's great.
Yep. Well, Jordan, congratulations again. Thank you for doing a great job.
Of course.
Hope the citizens of Iredell County know the magnitude of the job that you do every day, and it's things like this to just kind of highlight these instances in your career. So again, on behalf of Sheriff Campbell, Chief Conley, and everybody at the Sheriff's Office, congratulations, and I'm glad you won this award.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Today we've got an interesting show. Going to talk about some statistics, going to talk about ways to keep yourself safe, and if you are the victim of a crime, how you can work with your insurance companies to make sure you get everything back you need. Be back shortly.
There's more of The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell. 7 WSIC. Local starts here.
And welcome back to the Good, the Bad, and the Guilty. We're here with Farm Bureau. This is Major Troy Miller. I'm here with Chief Bill Hamby. If you have any questions or anything, please call in at 844-STUDIO-4 or 844-788-3464. We're also streaming on Facebook and online if you'd like to follow along with us. So,
what do you think, Joe? About an 8.5, 9?
That did all right.
Did all right.
Did all right.
Thank you.
Troy gonna get to be an old hat at this for long. That's awesome.
I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for tuning in today. Sheriff Campbell is tending to some North Carolina Sheriff's Association business today, so we're here with our good friends from Farm Bureau who just graciously gave their award, Deputy of the Month award, to one of our detention officers who did just an amazing job in a really stressful situation. So congratulations, Mr. Hoyle. Congratulations again on that award. You're doing a great job for Iredell County. So, Troy.
Yes.
You've been here with us before. You've been on the radio show before. A lot of people know you, but for those that don't know you, kind of tell our listeners what it is exactly you're in charge of and what do you do every day?
So currently I am the major over investigations at the Sheriff's Office. I oversee all our detectives, whether it be property crimes, our special victims unit, also our narcotics division, ACE team, ICE team. Anybody that's not over out here working on patrol, I'm overseeing our investigators who are following up on all these reports that come in. If you have an incident or a crime that happens and you report it, then it's usually one of my detectives that's following up on those cases and investigating and trying to find the persons involved and bringing them to justice.
So if a citizen has information and they reach out to us, whether it be on our Facebook page, whether it be on our app, whether they have a complaint or any information, you're one of the first people to get notified, along with me and the sheriff and Major Hepler for the most part.
Right, and I will say that anything, we take every bit of information that comes into the sheriff's office, we take it serious, whether it be an anonymous email, any phone calls that come in with information, we always follow up on those and take them seriously. And a lot of times those bits of information lead us to some arrests and help us clear up some cases. So yeah, absolutely. We're always looking for information that the citizens out here may be able to give us to help us out and solve some of these crimes that are occurring.
So today, and I wish Sheriff Campbell was here, but he said go ahead and let the folks know what kind of job we are doing. So the citizens play a huge part in what we're going to talk about today, as far as giving us information about suspects, giving us information about potential drugs, giving us information on where wanted people are. So we have to say thank you so much to the community as well for some of the numbers that we're going to reveal today.
Absolutely. And don't feel like if you're out there that you can always give information to the sheriff's office anonymously, because we're always going to follow up on that information.
Absolutely.
And like I said, sometimes it's led to some big arrests for us. So we appreciate any time a citizen wants to give us information, we'll gladly take it and follow up on it.
Excellent. So, gentlemen, if you'll allow us to talk about some stats real quick, then we're going to dovetail in as to how law enforcement and insurance work if you are a victim of a crime, and some of the things that the insurance industry is doing to work with law enforcement to help people keep from being the victim of a crime. So annually we put out what we call our annual report, and normally the first part of it is our crime statistics block. It's easy for me to say. And for those of you that may not be familiar with how the state and the federal government collect data on crimes, is we are always one calendar year behind, because what happens is we take reports, our men and women will go out and take a report. Troy's folks will investigate the crimes. Either our road patrol officers will make an arrest on scene, whatever it be, or if it gets turned over to investigations, those investigations work, and then there's an arrest made. So if I take out a warrant today, but the arrest is not made for 6 or 7 months, and the case is really not closed technically for 6 or 7 months till that person's actually in custody. So that's why there's always about a year lag time in our numbers. So the numbers we'll give you today were for the calendar year of 2022 and the first part of 2023. So one of the things that I am most proud of, having been in Troy's position and now being chief on the enforcement side, is the overall crime rate. Overall crime rate in Iredell County has decreased by 52% since 2014. Now, the reason that we use 2014 is obviously that's when Sheriff Campbell took over,
right?
And that's when he implemented a lot of the programs and a lot of the things that have made these numbers fall. So that's why you'll hear us refer to 2022. The index crimes that we're talking about are normally divided up into two. So think of it as like a big plate of food, and then we're going to separate it out into two different parts. Why do I always bring up food, Troy? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm thinking about donuts today. I don't know. But anyway, we talk about property crimes, and then we talk about violent crimes. So that's the two areas that we're going to talk about specifically. And just for the CID and Troy, I know this is where you take pride in the folks that work with you day to day, but our Criminal Investigative Division. All right, so if you are a victim of a crime and we take a report, all right, and it's turned over to a detective, 76% of those cases are cleared. That means either we make an arrest, we get property back, we take some sort of proactive action. So I will put those numbers up against anyone in the state of North Carolina when you consider the state average is about 23%. So we're well over that. So very, very proud of that. One of the things I know Sheriff Campbell is extremely proud of is when you look at, and these numbers, ladies and gentlemen, don't believe me, don't believe Troy, don't believe anything you hear on the radio except Joe, and Joe's a good guy, and I do believe that. Go look for yourself. These numbers are found on the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation website. The software that we enter all of our reports in, and Troy, you can talk more about this. If these reports are not correct, the computer will not accept them.
Absolutely. And we, every time a report is taken, we have to go through certain steps to make sure that everything's accurate on that report. And if there's one little error on there, you have to go back and fix it where it might be the wrong crime for a certain incident, or it could be properties off, but we have to make sure every report is accurate before the computer will even accept it into the system in the database. So.
Correct. So we can't fudge these numbers is basically what I'm getting to.
Right.
If we're not right, and on top of the computer program not allowing it to happen, we are spot audited by the state.
Correct, yes.
So every year or two, we know we're going to be audited every year annually by the Division of Criminal Information, which is a unit of the State Bureau of Investigation. I know it's a lot of acronyms. We know that's coming every year, so they will pull cases, but we can also be spot checked as well.
And sometimes they'll contact us and say, hey, you might want to look at these reports here. Something's not adding up with them. And we'll go back and look at them like, oh, yeah, you're right. We need to fix that. And we'll correct those reports to make sure everything's accurate as it can be.
Right. So we can't fudge these numbers. So the numbers I'm giving you, ladies and gentlemen, are indeed correct and not made up. This is one of the ones that just absolutely, when I did the numbers, I was blown away by these numbers. Iredell County Sheriff's Office falls into one of the top 10 largest sheriff's offices in the state of North Carolina. All right. Those offices are Iredell, Guilford, Davidson, Wake, Onslow, Buncombe, Union, Johnston, Forsyth, and Harnett. Now, I know our folks in the South End are going, whoa, wait a minute. What about this big county down here called Mecklenburg? Mecklenburg County they only run the jails and civil and some warrant squad for the most part. They don't do as many patrol activities as we do, which is why the state, not just me, but the state doesn't necessarily include them in this particular set of numbers. So basically what it's telling us is that of the largest counties, based on population of 100,000 people, Iredell County, you stand to be the victim of a crime. 785 out of 100,000 will be the victim of a crime based on statistics. The next closest county, who I will not name, but I will give you their number, is at 1327. We are 41% lower than our next closest county. The high number county here, again, I won't tell you who that is. You can look for yourself if you want to, but it's 1,816. So, that's just slap getting it done right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And a lot of that is, you've heard the sheriff before, and Troy, I know you hear him tell us basically daily, get out in the community. be active in the community, get to know your community partners, work with great folks like Farm Bureau, go to these breakfasts, go to these church events, be in these schools with our SROs, get out and get the folks to know you so that they will give you information so that they feel comfortable talking to you.
Absolutely, and it's definitely showing because, I mean, these when you look at these numbers, it's just amazing compared to other counties, and I'm very proud of the men and women that we have working at the sheriff's office because they're all working hard and doing a great job. So.
And then another one that I know our partners with us today will feel happy about is the property crime rate here in Iredell County. Here again in 2014, out of 100,000 citizens, 1,471 people would more than likely be the victim of some type of property crime, breaking and entering, robbery, things like that. In 2022, going into 2023, it was down to 631. That's a 57% decrease in property crime. Now, that comes with investigators calling every victim. That comes with ACE team getting out there, getting after it. That comes with, and I'm going to use the sheriff's shot, I wish he was here, going after career and repeat offenders.
Absolutely. And I'll credit our patrol officers as well because they're out here really working hard and patrolling these neighborhoods and checking on these businesses and being out there being seen because when you're out there being seen and interacting, criminals take notice.
Right, absolutely. So I know our time's drawing close. Just want to relate our violent crime rate from 2014. It was 171 victims per 100,000, and now we're down to 154. All everybody's like, that sounds a little high. You have to remember we have raised the age, which now every little fight and tussle that occurs at a school has to be reported. So you'll see those numbers go up. But when we come back, we're going to engage with our folks from Farm Bureau and talk about how insurance and law enforcement can work together to help our victims. Be back shortly.
Keep it right here. The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell will return after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Joe, you got me clubbing today, brother.
Isn't that a good thing?
You know what I like. You know my Alfred Hitchcock, man. Come on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We appreciate you taking your time to listen to us here on The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty on WSIC. And Joe promised me in the break that if we give you the number, you will call. So we would love for you to call if you have any questions, problems, concerns, any comments you'd like to make. The number is 844-788-3464. Again, that's 844-788-3464. We're streaming live on WSIC News app, Facebook, X, everything else. Joe says there's a couple tin cans tied to some string out back, so we're good to go. But just want to, first of all, let everybody know that if you're just now tuning in, today's one of our favorite shows that we do about every month, every other month at least, with our good friends from Farm Bureau who are more than gracious enough to award a Deputy of the Month award, which we did earlier. But this time of year, it's vacation time, people going off time, kids is out of school time. This is the time of year when I walk by Major Miller's office and he's pulling his hair out or rubbing his forehead because we see what we call kid crime or property crime go through the roof because it's warm at night, the moon's out, nobody's got to go to school the next day. Car break-ins through the wazoo, just property crime, outbuilding break-ins. And I know that when we take reports, that means you guys also have customers that are now filing claims. So for those that have probably hopefully had to never file a claim, from your expertise, gentlemen, let's say that my home gets broke into and I have about $7,000 worth of stuff stolen, taken, or I report that much anyway. What do I need to do to get the ball rolling on the insurance side?
Call the police first.
Yes,
come out,
okay.
get a
I'll
police
do
report.
that. Yep. I know Troy. I'll call him at home and he'll come over and get me.
Get the police report started, that kind of thing. Try and take a collection on what's missing. Kind of look around and see what's missing.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard because it's you got to remember where everything is, that kind of thing. So
Yes,
certain things you want to get itemized, like if you got jewelry, you want to get that on its own policy if it's over a certain number, which is usually about $1,500. Things like that. They're valuable stuff that you have to differentiate.
Firearms.
Yep, firearms, artwork, things like that. Because if a ring got stolen, all of a sudden it was a $40,000 ring. You got to be able to justify that.
Boy, had that
ring.
happen, Troy.
Never happened.
Yeah, no.
So
No.
that's why it's good to have it itemized. That way you're taken care of.
So that's something that a homeowner, property owner, they can do that proactively, hopefully before they ever become a victim of a crime.
Yeah, that even covers for mysterious disappearance. You're swimming in the ocean, a ring comes off. So you want to get your own policy.
Mysterious. Joe, did you hear that?
Mysterious.
Bill,
I had nothing to do with it.
Okay, just checking.
Truly, Bill, we've had a lady that lost her diamond ring, and laid it on the bathroom counter, and kid came along, picked the toilet paper up, threw it in the toilet, flushed it down.
Wow.
And we paid the claim. So, mysterious disappearance.
Man, I did that with a retainer one time. I threw it away. I was able to get it out of the trash can.
Yeah.
I washed it off real good though, but
Before Dad killed you.
oh yes, sir, absolutely.
Dirt bikes is one that this time of year seem to happen a good bit. And you got to have a policy for them typically. And that way you got that, and four-wheeler, anything like that's easy accessible to throw on a trailer, or back
Or
of a truck.
drive off.
Or drive off, right.
So if I'm coming to you as a brand new homeowner, let's say that I'm right out of college because we have a lot of young people, and I'm gonna live at home with mom and dad, but I have my stuff. Say I'm gonna move in their basement. Am I covered under mom and dad's policy, or do I need to get my own for my own merchandise?
You're covered with your mom and dad's policy.
Okay.
So your name insured basically is living there. So anything you have will be covered under your homeowner's policy.
You live in an apartment down the road, different story.
Right.
Story.
Get that renter's insurance. All right, good deal.
And then itemize those big things, and personal property is kind of easier, but some of the big ticket items are more expensive things, that jewelry, artwork, that kind of thing, firearms, stuff like that.
So I used to teach just a little bit of crime prevention, and I know that one of the things that we often got questions for was just like that. So if I take my handy dandy cell phone and I put on let's say I have several guns, and maybe a nice watch or two and some jewelry, and I go by and I videotape those, or I take pictures of them and put them on a flash drive and put it in my safe or put it up. If I do get broke into or these things do get missing, am I able to give that to you guys? Will that help me?
Absolutely.
Help me out, help you guys out as well?
100% with that. And we always tell our clients, take and video your house, because most folks have got the cell phones now available, and they can go through and video the home. How many pictures do you have hanging per room if the house was not only on a crime but catch on fire?
Yes, sir.
Anything that you can do to go ahead and be proactive, you're going to be ahead of the game when it comes to the insurance side of things.
Right. I know that I had an opportunity many years ago to work some fires with the fire marshal's office, and we had one very large home in the southern end of Iredell County, and we walked into it, and the insurance company that was covering the house, they had hired a private investigator to come in and do their investigation, and we met the gentleman at the door, and he said, "Y'all tell me what's wrong with this picture." And we walk in, and was a ginormous home. And you walk in and you're like, there's nothing in here. There was no furniture. There was no clothes in the closet.
That's when Mr. Miller needs to come.
Yeah. So we instantly started doing some talking, and we were never able to pin down the exact cause of the fire. What we thought was cause of the fire, what the SBI agent thought was the cause of the fire, and what the company's insurance investigator said was the cause of the fire were two different things. So, but because of the lie, I guess, that the gentleman told the insurance company, they didn't pay out. They said, sue us, we're not paying out, because it was well over $800,000.
And that's one thing to remember, too. We have our own SIU team.
Yeah, talk about that, Jeff, if you will.
We got John Bull. He does that in this area. And if something's a little fishy or something like that, he's going to get with Detective Miller and I'm sorry on that.
You're fine.
Anyway, going to get with Mr. Miller, and they're going to discuss that stuff. I'm sure they've done it in the past, but they leave no rock unturned. They're going to check it out, and our guys are great. The house where the fires were started, they can go back to the point of origin of that and tell you what caused it. So, to me, it's amazing.
And one of the neatest things that I ever got from the insurance companies that we worked with while we were working the fires was a beautiful thing called a proof of loss. Because they'll tell us one thing thinking we'll never talk to the insurance company and tell y'all a whole bunch of other stuff.
That's right.
And the law said, North Carolina law at least says that we can work with you guys and you guys can work with us. And all we have to do is say, give us. And man, there's some really neat information that the insurance, not just Farm Bureau, but all of the insurance companies keep on these folks, where you can literally track from claim to claim to claim to claim and watch these people go across the country. That was pretty neat.
It happens, and the thing about it is everything's recorded. As y'all take statements, it's going to be recorded as well. So you do get them tripped up here or there, and we have situations, unfortunately, that people do bad things.
Right.
So.
And then we're able to come in and charge them with the fraud in addition to the other stuff. So that works well.
And a lot of times we'll give an option, do you still want to continue this claim? That's a question that's asked a lot. And a lot of times that claim gets withdrawn.
So they do have the ability to walk away from it if they want to.
Yeah. But an $800,000 house like you're talking about, that guy's...
Because I'm sure the bank could be calling Troy wanting some other charges taken out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. You can count on that.
Well, they're tied in. We're going to pay the bank before we're going to pay. That has to be addressed. If we pay an individual out, we don't pay the lien holder, and something happens, they go ahead and tear the house all to pieces. We go back in, we have to pay that claim again. So
really,
yes, sir.
Wow.
We're first obligated to the lien holder on the policy.
So how much? And I know that this is obviously subjective, but let's just say that you have, and I'll use average, $250,000 house, man and woman, 2 kids, dog, and normal contents in basically central Iredell County, because I know depending on what zip code you're in, things go up and down. But let's say the Statesville area, what would be a good, safe policy amount for someone to get?
If it's $250,000 house, you have a percentage of 70%. That's your personal property amount. But so that part's typically in there. Sometimes you have a customer, I don't have that much stuff, but it's a package policy, so that's where it's at, those percentages.
Okay.
The big issue you run into is where you don't insure other stuff you didn't think about. You didn't think about that 4-wheeler.
Yeah, there
that
we
you
go.
take to West Virginia.
Yep.
Well, that's not personal property. I mean,
So just for edification for us, so we can help our hopefully, I don't want us to have future victims, but I know we will just because of the way the world works. So if I have a homeowner's policy for my house and my 4-wheeler's at the house, and it gets stolen, is that 4-wheeler covered under that, or does that have to be something separate?
The first question would be, how's the 4-wheeler used? What's it used for?
I just ride it on the weekends around the house.
So no upkeep of the house, nothing
Yes.
like that, then it would not be covered.
be on its
As
own
long as
policy.
you have,
Learned something.
So let's say you got a sprayer and you're using it that way, upkeeping your property
Right.
because you got some land. It's a different story. You're
Okay.
using it to upkeep your property like a lawnmower.
So if it's just a good old dirt bike and I had it in the shed and the shed got broke
Not
into.
covered.
No.
Interesting.
Troy, we learned something today. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, I hope y'all heard that. We're going to come back in about 30 seconds. Joe's in my ear. But I want to readdress that and make sure that our listeners heard that so that you can make sure you're safe and covered financially.
Ask your agent's best bet. Always
There you
ask
go.
your agent.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back.
Don't go anywhere. We'll have more of The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty coming up right after these messages on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, the summertime heat and humidity is back, and it's with us for most of the week. Overnight, a partly cloudy sky. Temperatures will dip down into the upper 60s. For our Tuesday, I'll just keep an eye out for a couple of scattered showers and a thunder.
Call now to speak with Iredell County Sheriff Darren Campbell at 844-STUDIO-4. The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
And welcome back to The Good, the Bad, and the Guilty. We're here with
Joe's playing my music, Troy.
Yeah, that's your music. That's what
it.
you've been looking for.
I've
So
been
there
looking
it
all
is.
week, baby.
Sherlock Holmes. So we're here with the fine folks from Farm Bureau, and I'm Major Troy Miller, also here with Chief Bill Hamby. Please give us a call if you have any questions or comments. Phone number is 844-STUDIO-4 or 844-788-3464. You can also watch us on Facebook Live and I believe you said Twitter or X or
X and Joe's family number and everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
The W in WSIC is worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yes.
Worldwide, Joe.
Exactly. You got
Excellent. Excellent. This is one of those breaks where I wish, Joe, that you could have like a paid service or you let people listen to us. But, man, we had some great conversation while we were off air. Brought up some really interesting points. So right before we left for break, how old was I when I learned this? That if your four-wheeler or your dirt bike, I would assume it would cover like golf carts and things like that as well.
Be the same situation.
So if you're not using it for work, ladies and gentlemen, and you're just recreating with it, you got to have it on its own policy.
Well, now we'll work around the home.
Yeah. No. But I mean, like
exactly.
And you gave some instances, yes. So thank you for clearing that up. But this is the time of year, and Troy and I see this, and unfortunately, you have people that'll leave their vehicles at a boat access, or they'll leave a boat at a boat access, or they'll tie it up at the dock, and they'll come back the next day, and the fishing rod's gone, the depth finder's gone, everything's gone. So tell our folks right quick, guys, if you don't mind, let's talk about boat coverage. Make sure your boat's covered. And then, Jeff, you brought up something, and this time of year we see it statistically. Troy, I know our men and women are out, and we work with Highway Patrol and other agencies on DWI enforcement, boating while impaired enforcement. So Jason, I'll let you talk about boats and coverage, and then Jeff, if you want to talk about DWIs, and what you told me was pretty shocking, and I'm glad. I think two's one too many. But that was some pretty cool points. So, Jason, I'll let you tell us about boats and coverage.
Yeah, boat. I mean, it comes up occasionally where, like you said, they don't steal the boat, but they take out everything in it. Or let's say somebody's going on a fishing trip. They're going to Santee Cooper or something like that, and they take all the reels, everything out of there. If that's your personal property, that realm would be fine. If they find out that you're a pro bass fisher and you're fishing and you get paid and that kind of thing, different. You'd want to have those itemized. You get coverage, you just need to itemize it of, hey, I fish professionally. Now, some people just have such expensive gear, they want it anyway. They want to know it's covered. And that's the best way to do it. Right. But if you got some fishing rods you just use when you at the dock with your grandkids or whatever, that's pretty cut and dry. But also it comes into the deductible too, because sometimes fishing rods aren't going to reach up to what your deductibles are anyway. Boats are a big part with that, with the liability, having that on your boat policy. Liability for something happens, you hit somebody, you injure somebody, it's good to have that there. It covers you that way.
And you brought up a good point. There was a little viral video that went around locally about a gentleman pulling out of a boat access or a pier access this last weekend. So if you know who that guy is, give us a call. I'm sure Wildlife or some other agency would like to know who that individual was.
Yeah, but that type of thing with those collisions, that's where that boat liability will come into place. And then if you don't have coverage on it, there's people that have boats probably don't have coverage on it. Something you want to have. But with the internal stuff, like the crime is stealing the things in the boat, things like that, that's you want to have itemized if you've got a lot amount of it. Same thing goes kind of back, flipping it real quick to like landscaping. People, you lose your lawnmower and stuff like that. If you're doing that for a living, you need to have that on their own policy. If all your lawnmowers and all that's just your personal stuff you use at your house, it's different.
Okay.
But same thing with fishing equipment, wakeboards, all that, the fancy wakeboard boats and all the stuff they have in there, speakers and all that.
Right. So like you said, ask your agent.
Ask your agent.
Ask a lot of questions.
Pick up a phone call. Yep. So Jeff, tell us about, let's say someone is, I'll say it, dumb enough to get a DWI. How much is that going to cost them first time around?
Well, you got the lawyer expense.
Yeah.
I mean, you got maybe somebody to bond you out of jail to start with. Then you got the insurance. We used to do the classes for the 15-year-old coming up driver ed, and we took the Highway Patrol with us, and then they would do their talk, and everybody thinks the Highway Patrol is a bad guy. They're not. The insurance guy's going to be the bad guy because you're going to get 12 points on a DUI.
Wow.
With Farm Bureau, we're a very conservative company. After on your second DUI, we'll no longer write you voluntary coverage. We won't write your comp and collision. We have to write reinsurance facility liability, but that's it, period.
And that's because the law tells you have to.
No,
you don't like it. You don't like it, but the law says you got to.
We have to offer the RF liability, but not the comp and collision. We will not touch it.
So on just normal money, what's a insurance bump on a DWI going to cost?
Just on liabilities, Jason, what do you think? $1,400 maybe. With us, every 6 months, $2,800 a year.
Wow.
So my deal is this: you get you a nice limousine,
Yeah.
get a nice
Uber.
nice Uber, call a friend, get a hotel, do whatever. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
It affects even affects life insurance.
Exactly, absolutely.
So
Yeah, the standard rating's like the best you can get for 10 years.
Absolutely.
With us, you can't get a better rating if you have that.
And if you have
wow,
an
I
issue,
learned something again, Troy.
Absolutely, yeah.
if you have an issue with alcohol, we can turn that down because there's alcohol questionnaires. If you're drinking too much, Farm Bureau, we're not going to keep that coverage. We're going.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just in the few minutes that we have left, to kind of help you help yourself, help the sheriff's office, and help Farm Bureau and all the other insurance folks. Take a few minutes as you get ready to go on vacation, as you take those long weekends, as you get out of town, and do a few simple things. I know Troy made me pull my hair out back in the day, and I know it does you and your detectives, but golly, lock your car.
Yes. Our detectives, I know yesterday down in the Mooresville area, we took several reports. And when I say car break-ins, most people think, oh,
We should say car door openings.
Yeah. It's not somebody smashing the window. This is people going around in the middle of the night, sneaking around in your driveway, checking to see if your doors are unlocked. 9 times out of 10, they are, and there's valuables left in the car.
Mm-hmm. Big money valuables.
Just because you think your neighborhood is safe and not a lot is going on and it's quiet, there are still people out there looking to take advantage, and they're going to be out here sneaking around, see what they can find. And this is the time of year when it always picks up, and we got kids out of school and they're doing things they probably shouldn't be doing and sneaking out at night. Just please lock your doors, keep your valuables in the house. It really helps us out and would help you out, and your insurance agent as well. So,
and how many times, Troy, have we worked groups from other counties that will come to more affluent areas near interstates? So that means the Mooresville community, Troutman community, Statesville community, up into northern Iredell County. I know we've worked them up there, just specifically to break in, and then they will go back to other counties because it does make it more difficult for them to get caught.
Yeah, and one of our detectives that works in the south end, he has made some really good contacts in a county neighboring to the south of us.
Mm-hmm.
But he's working very closely with some detectives down there because we have people that come up from other counties, and they'll come up here and do their crimes, and they'll head back south or to whatever county they're from, and then our detectives have to make contacts with these other agencies and like, hey, what kind of suspects y'all have, and we got this going on, and we think they're coming up from your county, and we've worked together a lot with other agencies to help us solve some of these, but a lot of times we're not so lucky to be able to identify these people. And
I know Farm Bureau, I know other insurance companies, they have free information on how to keep yourself from being a victim of a crime. We do it constantly. We have shows. We have people that will come out, talk to neighborhood groups, HOAs, church groups, civic groups. So basically, I hate to say it's common sense, but it really is common sense sometimes. Lock your car doors.
Please.
Go out and set some timers. I've seen apps now where you get them on your phone where you can Bluetooth your lights on. So if you are at the beach, you're at the mountains, you're at in-laws' house, 2 or 3 hours down the road, hit a button, turn the lights on. Hit a button, turn the lights off. It's that simple, that easy. And believe me, from having talked to criminals, when we were able to interview them, when they would talk, they'll tell you real quick, a big dog and lights are the two things that they don't want to mess with. Obviously, nobody wants to get dog bit, and dogs bark and wake people up, so it draws attention. And two, now with the way that our lights are and the alarm companies and the other easy lights that you can put up, most of them now have some sort of camera in them as well, and criminals know that. So if leave your lights on or set them on timers, things of that nature. Obviously, make sure that your newspaper and mail are picked up. We still have people doing mail thefts and things like that. But if you got 2 or 3 newspapers in your mailbox or in your driveway, that screams, hey, something's wrong there, or I'm not there. So please make sure you do that.
I would also say go back to the numbers you were showing. The sheriff's office presence in the community. night and day. Being able to see those cars has got to be one of the biggest deterrents around.
Yep. And if you go on vacation, and I'm glad you said that, sir. Thank you for reminding me. If you're going on vacation or you're going out of town, give us a call at the sheriff's office. We got a little form that you can fill out, and we'll give you extra patrols as calls allow, of course. But we will put you on a list to make sure that your property or your residence gets checked. And like you said, Jeff, officer presence is the number one level of use of force. So nobody wants to break into a home or go into a neighborhood where they know the officers are. So, guys, I know Joe says our time is short. Again, on behalf of Sheriff Campbell, first of all, thank you for Farm Bureau for being an amazing supporter and advocate of the Iredell County Sheriff's Office, being an amazing business within Iredell County. You guys just do amazing things for the community, and we appreciate so much everything you guys do for us.
Appreciate you letting us be a part of it.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking your time to listen today, and we'll be back next week with the good, the bad, and the guilty.